Our speaker today is Glenn Earich. Glenn has been teaching at the Second City Training Center since 2000. He's written and produced and directed many shows. In addition to having written for national touring comedians, Glenn has written roast material for professional athletes and local celebrities. This should be a real fun presentation. So without further, please welcome Glenn Earich.
Okay, so actually I'm going to start with a video from the first cast of the Second City, and then we'll talk from there. So, okay, we good with the lights? Okay.
When the University of Chicago recently installed a new chancellor, it reminded us that the last time they installed a chancellor, Mr. Lawrence Kimpton, he vowed that he would bring football back to the University of Chicago. Well, he did not. And now we would like to explore some of the possible reasons why he did not in a scene entitled Football Comes to the University of Chicago.
Raise the micro Chicago, show them how we stand. La da dee da 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 dum bum 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 bum.
Dr. Harden?
Coach Harden's my name.
How do you do, sir? It's a pleasure to meet you.
Well, very nice to meet you. You're here for football 202?
I certainly am.
Well, what's your name?
My name is Pim, sir.
Pim.
Alejandro Pim.
Alejandro Pim. Well, maybe we can make an end out of you, Pim. Yeah, well, we'll see about that. Have you played much football?
What?
Have you played much football?
Not in this life.
Not in
no.
this life.
Football 202?
Yes, indeed.
Dr. Harden.
Coach Harden's my name.
How do you do, sir? My name is Throckmorton.
Throckmorton?
Morton Throckmorton, yes, sir. I'm in theology.
Theology?
Yes, sir.
Well, you must be about 195 there, Throckmorton. You weigh about 195?
Oh, I thought you meant my IQ. No, sir.
Guess we can make you quarterback. Oh, hello there.
Morgenstern.
Morgenstern. No, not here. You might try down the hall, but boy, I didn't.
No, I am Morgenstern.
Oh, you're Morgenstern. Very nice to meet you.
Very good to meet you, Doctor.
Coach.
Dr. Coach.
How do you do? My name is
All right, get acquainted, gentlemen. Draw up some chairs here. What are you in?
History of arithmetic.
Gentlemen, I was hoping we'd get a few more, say 11, and learn how to play football, but I guess we'll have to start with
Dr.
3.
Harden, sir, if I might interrupt you before you've even begun, so to speak. Well, sir, ever since I signed up for this course, I've been wondering whether football, as so many other games seem to have, began as a sacred or religious rite.
It's kind of a leading question, I think.
Where does it lead, sir?
Oh, right back to Rutgers in the 19th century. That's where it
couldn't
began.
very well be religious in America in the 19th century now, could it?
Why do you say that?
No, not with all those Baptists around. No, indeed.
Oh, you seem to forget there were a great many Kierkegaardian existentialists.
Oh, no.
They loved exercise.
We have a left guard and a right guard. No Kierkegaard. As you can see on the blackboard here, I've outlined a football field. It's roughly 30 by 100 yards long.
Roughly, sir?
Oh, my diagram. Yes, it's a little off. On the field, it's 100 yards long.
Exactly.
Yes.
I can accept that.
Good. I'm glad to hear that. You're going to have to. All right, here we go. I've drawn some yard lines here, gentlemen. You'll see they're 5 yards
Oh,
apart.
excuse me, sir.
Yes, Pim.
Do those horizontal lines have some relationship to the treble and bass clef?
No, that's not a staff. I'm sorry to disappoint you.
Oh, I don't mind.
Oh, good. No, that's a football field. Of course, you wouldn't play on the blackboard. You play out of doors. Yeah, all right. Let's take a hypothetical case here, gentlemen. Let's say you have the ball on the 47-yard line
I
here.
beg your pardon, sir. Those things you keep referring to as lines.
Yes.
Those are not lines. If they were lines, they would go all the way out to the end of the universe and make the game very long and tedious.
Well, what are they?
They're line segments.
I can accept that. All right, fine. You have the ball here, gentlemen, on the 47-yard line segment, and I've drawn some circles here. That means that you have the ball.
I hate to interrupt again, but they're ellipsoids.
Ellipsoid.
Dr.
All
Harden,
right, we'll
sir,
go along with that.
would I be
too.
correct in assuming that the ellipsoids represent a group acting in concert for the common good?
Why not? I don't know. Yeah. But you're going down the field for a touchdown.
I
You know,
see,
that's
sir.
right. And you're going to ask, of course, how do we do that?
How do we do that?
I'm going to tell you here if you'll let me. All right. The ellipsoids have the ball here, and they're playing the crosses up here.
Ah, crossing!
Oh, no. Sit down, Pop One. We'll make them X's, all right? The ellipsoids are playing the X's up here.
What do the X's represent?
Oh, that's a very good question, Morgenstern. That's your opponent, you see, the defense.
And each X has the same power.
No, the tackles are usually heavier, so I'll put little curlicues on them. Little dots over the guards.
Oh, look what you've notated there, sir.
Oh, what have I notated?
That's Bachianus Brasiliaris number 5 by Villalobos.
No, you can't sing those guards like that.
No, they're not guards, sir. They're whole notes.
No. My God, they are whole notes. I never saw that. I've got a whole backfield full of whole notes there, right? No, that's a naked reverse. Throckmorton, tell them what a naked reverse is.
Oh, well, this would be turning around when one is nude.
You wear a uniform. Oh, let's look at it in practice, gentlemen. This is what we're going to be playing with. There it is, the All-American football.
Oh, that's an odd shape, isn't it?
Yes, it's not actually round.
No, that's where you can pass and kick it.
It's a demi-polytetrahedron.
No. That's a Spalding. They put that out. Very good ball.
It plays a tune.
No, just leaking a little air. I didn't pump it up tonight. Gentlemen, this ball has had a very interesting history.
Oh?
It used to be made from the skin of a pig. It's now made from the skin of a calf.
Aha, well, that's understandable,
I'm
sir.
sure Throckmorton could tell us why.
All right, Throckmorton, tell us why.
Why, the Muslims wouldn't be able to touch it.
Oh, no.
And of course the Jews wouldn't be able to eat it.
Oh, no. You don't have to worry about that, gentlemen. We're not playing into those schools, all right?
Some sort of prejudice here?
No prejudice. We just have a very tight schedule. All right, Throckmorton, here we go.
Yes, sir.
You got a very important job. You're going to have to, first of all, bend over.
Why are you bending me,
Because you have to reach the ball down there, you see.
Oh, well,
right,
there it
now, you're the center.
Center, sir.
Center of this line segment, and on each side there's a guard. Left guard, left tackle, left end and right end. You got all that?
Company, yes, sir.
Company.
That's
Yes.
Where are the beginnings for those ends?
Right here, Throckmorton.
Oh, sir, I have a sciatic condition.
Oh, I'm sorry. Throckmorton, right here.
See, I can't figure it out because he is in the center or middle.
That's right.
You can't begin in the middle. You begin at the beginning, go through the middle, you get to the end.
Who says so?
Aristotle.
Who do you play for?
Oh, Alexander the Great, Philip of Macedon, that whole crowd.
St. Thomas Aquinas says the same thing, sir.
Oh, Notre Dame boy. All right, I'll tell you what. We'll have a compromise here. We're going to make you left beginning, all right? You get right.
I can accept that, yeah.
All right, now, Throckmorton, remember.
Yes, sir.
When you center that ball,
Yes, sir.
across that line are 7 big, beefy monsters. They want that ball, too, and they're coming across, and they're going to smear you. All right, here we go, right out of your face.
Well, surely we can discuss it.
I'll
I'll be happy to give them the ball. As an act of Christian charity.
Well, that's very noble, I'm sure, but rules of the game require that you keep the ball.
Rules of
Rules of the game, like chess.
No, it's not like chess. All right,
Parcheesi.
all right, here we go. Now, Cam, you're the quarterback here. You're running the team. You're going to come over here like this, the shift. You're going to get the ball from Throckmorton, give it off to Morgenstern, and you're going to go around your own end. All right, here we go.
Sir,
Ball here.
I mean, geometrically it's possible, but anatomically.
For God's sake. All right, go around your own beginning.
I'm afraid I have a problem here. I can't maintain this position indefinitely, sir, because you see the blood rushes to my head and I have
dear.
a sinus infection. I get dizzy.
You're in a bad way. Well, try not to pass out, Throckmorton. All right, here we go. All right, Pam, singles. Shift. Shift. Come on, shift in there. Here we go. Shift.
Dr. Harden, I think he's trying to eliminate my function here.
Yeah, we're going to have to work on that. For now,
Isn't his function to get smeared by those 7 men?
his function is to eliminate that. Or, I don't know. All right, let's get on here. For now, Pam, just come over here. Put your hands like this. Give me your hands here. And put them up under there. Get the ball from Throckmorton and give it off to Morgenstern. All right, let's see get that much. Play off here. All right, here we go. Singles. 1, 2, 3. Hike! No. On hike, you'd be right in there to get that ball. Come on, right up there. Body contact. Little body contact. Drive in there. Come on, right up there. Come on, get that ball. Get that ball. Come on, get in there. Come on, your ball side. Get in there. Get that ball. What's the matter with you? What's wrong?
I won't do it,
Why not?
because I hardly know him.
Ridiculous. I'm resigning. I'm going back to Michigan State. I'm getting.
Gentlemen, it's very much like Harriet.
All right, I appreciate the applause, but they're not here. No, so that was the first cast of the Second City. So just to give you an idea. But how did we get there? So in order to tell the story of improvisation, we need to tell the story of Viola Spolin. So she is the mother of improvisation. So, so she was the first generation American of immigrants. Her father was a security guard for an opera house. So from the time she could walk, she would go hang with him backstage, and that's sort of how she became infatuated with the theater. And also, they would, whenever they were home, their family always played. So they create songs and characters and things like that. And she actually created her first, or directed her first show when she was 8 years old. So she always, her nickname was Spark, so she was always on the move and didn't, the old cliche of she beat to her own drum or so. And she also, when she would hang out with girls, and this, you got to remember, this is like the 30s. So her and her friends would put their hair up in a bob, put on bright red lipstick, wear men's clothes. So all sorts of things you really didn't see. But again, she just wanted to try to create things all the time. So when she was 18, she went to the Hall House. So those of you familiar with it, on the Chicago near West Side. So those who aren't familiar with the Hall House, the whole point was Jane Addams and was the other Elegate Star. Their idea was to put a community center in the middle of these impoverished neighborhoods to help them, the kids, as much as possible. So, and they also believed that education was the best way to create a democracy by an educated citizenry. So, so they would have all sorts of, besides kindergartens and everything else, they would have all sorts of games and things like that for kids. So, so she came across, this is where she met Neva Boyd. And Neva Boyd was a social worker who had a strong interest in games, and especially children's games. So and to put it, to quote her, she said, when we're playing all the other stuff we're worried about, all our self-consciousness disappears because we're focused on the rules of the game, on each other. We're in the present when we play. So that's where the idea of creating games to help other people in sociological situations first came to be. So because and the important part of the games is that you didn't have to speak English, because everybody spoke 10 different languages. So, but you could create and solve problems through the use of these games. So she eventually, so she worked with Neva Boyd for 3 years, got married, had 2 sons. One of them, Paul Sills, which becomes very important. Spoiler alert, co-founded Second City, so we'll get back to him. So, so since she wasn't able to work as a group worker anymore, she would have her girlfriends over, and they would continue to play and create at home. And that's where her kids got exposed to this, where Paul Sills says, from the time he could sit up, he remembers seeing just continuous play. Again, in the same kind of vein that Viola was raised in. So, so the marriage didn't last. Again, Viola wasn't one to try to stay in a marriage if it wasn't working. They got married young. So, so this is the Depression. She's a single mother. She can't afford a home on her own. So she gathers up other single mothers, and they end up renting a mansion on Sheridan Road. So So there's where they created the educational playroom. So this was a place, again, borrowing from the Hull House and what she'd learned from David Boyd. So she was able to have all these different kids of various ages and help them interact and create them, not only learning, the basics of a school education, but most importantly, the social aspect, creating them, because everybody's coming from different cultures. So she teaches them, the ways to interact and using games that way. So, so at this time, she, because she created this community for her kids, she was able to go to New York for a bit to study theater, which she'd always wanted to do. But she missed her voice so much, she quickly moved back. And that's when she came back to the Hull House again. And this is what's called the ground zero of improv. This is the first time that people started to use games in order to create theater. So she had working through through WPA. She was what was her title? She was a trauma specialist. So she would work with these kids, again, very, very poor kids, literally just playing in the streets in garbage and things like that. So they wanted to get them off the streets, and she created this theater for them. And the reason that it was different is because it was a theater, and anything they created, the performers created. Before that, theater usually was, somebody wrote something and then you perform something. So, but she had the kids create their own scenarios through the use of these improv games and things like that. So she was able to actually end up putting on a show. So in their first show at the Hull House had 150 people in the cast. So, but everything that was on stage, they created. So you have these kids, instilling these children and these performers with the idea that they can create something. And again, language is not an issue because they're creating scenes, familiar scenes and scenarios, recognizable situations. So they were able to, and this is something that was very influential in Paul, because he was able to see that, like I said, you don't need the separation of writer and performer, that the performer could create their own material. So she remarried to Ed Spollen. They moved out to LA, and so she ends up creating, using those games, those theater games out there, created the Young Actors Theater out there. And one of the children, so this is 1948. So when actually one of the children who took the class was Alan Arkin, so who you also saw in that original, the video we watched at the top. So he was one of the performers. So he got exposed to that out in LA and eventually made it to Chicago. So at this time, Paul Sills, he's 16 years old, but he doesn't like LA. So he hitchhikes back to Chicago. He finishes high school at 16, enrolls in the University of Chicago at 16 years old and gets accepted. Yes, very smart guy. So, but he still has this love of theater and games and things like that. So he starts plastering the campus and anywhere else to teach these workshops based on his mother's games. So, and this is, you see there, some of the people who took this, these classes: Ed Asner, Barbara Harris, Elaine May, Mike Nichols. By the way, Ed Asner hated doing improv. Just as he saw it as a valuable tool, but he hated it. That's when they would ever ask him to come back and do stuff, he would never do it because he didn't like it. So he's teaching these workshops, and then he meets David Shepard. So another point, Paul Sills meets David Shepard. Now, David Shepard is the son. He's a Marxist son of a millionaire. So he doesn't want anything to do. He thinks he has an idea that theater should be for the people. So it shouldn't be just for, because at that point, a lot of theater was just for the elite and geared towards that. But he always believed that theater should represent the audience, and whether that's a white collar audience, a blue collar audience, he wanted it to be for the people. So he meets Paul Sills, and they have a common goal in that they want to create this theater for the people. But Paul is really pushing to open up this improvisational theater, or this theater using improv games to create material. So David Shepard says, okay, his father gave him $10,000 and told him to go away. So David Shepard takes that money and they invest in a storefront. It was a Chinese restaurant. So now there's no way that they can create a theater because there's no way they could meet the fire code standards. So they have an idea. So they create what's called a playwrights theater club. And so for the price of a ticket, you get, for a certain nominal price, you get the ticket, and you also get a card saying you're a member of this club. So it's technically not a theater. So that way they don't have to worry about all the fire code violations, at least initially. So this starts in, so you see, June 23rd, 1953. It opens, very successful, but this wasn't improvisational theater yet. They weren't performing improv for an audience. They were using improv to create material, and then eventually that material would be set, and that's what you would see. The audience would see the end result of that improv process. So again, this is Elaine May and Mike Nichols being a part of this. So they brought in this, and this is, by this time, Viola had come back to help teach the games, because obviously she created the games as much as Paul loved the games. He wasn't as good as far as teaching her games. So she came in, taught all the games, helped to create the material. So they, as I said, they opened up in 1953. So they performed. There's a mix. There was original stuff, but there also a mix of classics in there. So at the end of the first year, they had 2,000 subscribers. So they got. I mean, it was very high energy. They were doing. I forget how many. I think they did 20. They were doing, I think, 20 plays a year. And so everybody eventually just got burned out. So that's why, and also David Shepard was sort of disillusioned because this isn't what he wanted to do. So they closed the Playwrights Theater Club, and then they decided to create the Compass Players. So, and this becomes the first improvisational theater in the world. So, and the reason they called the Compass Players is because they wanted the audience to discover where they were and where they were going. So it really was supposed to be a theater for the people, reflecting their life their situation. What you think of now, like the sitcom situation, comedies, is it reflects what's happening. The reason you relate to it is because it reflects to things that are in your life. So this is the same thing here, specifically for a blue collar crowd, but also for the college kids and things like that. So it's a completely different type of theater. So once again, Viola's on board. They said they opened in 1955. So the first part would be structures, plays, but then the second part would be they would come up with a structure for a story, but everything else would be improvised. So for those of you who are familiar with Curb Your Enthusiasm, so that's the same structure that Larry David uses. He doesn't write any dialogue. It's just he comes up with an outline for a story, and then they just improvise all the scenes. So it's the same thing. This is where all this started. So again, instant success. Nobody'd ever seen anything like this at all. So and it really was. They didn't pull any punches. Not all of it wasn't meant to be. They weren't trying to make comedy, but they were, just because one of the places that humor comes from is recognition or familiarity. So there's a lot of, so that just basically, and they're funny people, as you can see there. They were just people already funny, so that's just going to come out. So then this again, David again disillusioned with what's coming out of it. They close the Compass Players. So now we have Paul Sills and Dave Shepard go their separate ways. Paul Sills is a nightclub owner, but he still wants to get his theater off the ground. So he meets Bernie Sahlins and Howard Alk. And so they come up with, they want to open a club. And so they find a Chinese laundry. Again, I don't know why all these were previously owned by Chinese. Maybe that's just coincidence, I guess. So they find what it was, a Chinese laundry, and they open. They're trying to come up with the name for the club. So at the time, there was a New York writer who had wrote a scathing article about Chicago, how New York is the best at everything and that type of thing. And he referred to Chicago as the second city because it was devoid of culture. So they took that ownership of that name as sort of, a certain finger to that writer, just to put it back on him. So he got this. He got a lot of the Compass Players, because again, it's not that long after the Compass Players dissolved before they brought in opened the second city. And everything was one of the things that had never been done before is using audience suggestions. So they would just ask for certain objects or environment suggestions, and they would create scenes on the spot. And again, it was blowing people's minds because they'd never seen anything like that. So Joe, I'm gonna do the second video, so you might need to push the volume a little bit. So again, this is them filming, them getting suggestions from a live audience and then creating scenes from it.
Improvisation has always been a basis of the Second City Review, unrehearsed scenes guided by suggestions from the audience. Eugene Krubnik is now trying to find Improvisation has always been a basis of the Second City Review, unrehearsed scenes guided by suggestions from the audience. Eugene Krubnik is now trying to find an inanimate object and a suggestion for a theme. The object is a salt cellar, and now let's see if we can find that theme.
Anyone? Immorality.
Immorality. Well, fellows, you have immorality with a salt cellar.
That's very naughty.
Can't get it off.
Yeah, well, that's very naughty of you to try to bust the salt cellar. What did it do to you? Did it do anything to you, the salt cellar?
How'd you do that? You got it right off just like that.
Yeah, no, you gotta have not sweaty fingers, see?
Oh, is that it?
Yeah, that's the problem.
That's my problem. I sweat, you know, all the time. Actually, what I'm trying to get on, I can't get the salt out, you see. It's all blacked up.
Oh, yeah, well, that's a very easy thing to do.
And I'm having trouble with my pet here. She's always getting out. I want to put a little salt in her tail.
Yeah, well, you know what we do?
Right.
Give me the ice pick.
Oh, you're not going to... No, she's only 1 year old.
No, that would be immoral. They just want to get the salt out.
See what we mean? Now, in our second improvisation, the object is a safety pin and the theme is religion. Let's see what Alan Arkin and Barbara Harris can create from that.
Don't move.
What are you doing in here with a baby?
I'm trying to diaper.
Oh, but you need a safety.
Yeah, it's over there. Could you get it for me?
I'd rather hold the baby.
Okay. Hold him.
All right. You're very good at this.
Yeah, I do it for a long time.
How long?
I've been doing it for a year.
But you're only 6.
I've been doing it since I was 4. Hold the baby.
You don't count very good.
Who said I'm only 5 years old? How could I count good?
But you think very good.
Yeah, I know it.
Why did Mother let you have the baby?
Because she went away to church.
Because she went away, but...
She has a meeting there.
Oh, because she doesn't go to church.
She went.
But that's the John Birch Society.
Well, I knew it was some kind of religion.
Now, in this last unrehearsed scene, the theme the audience has chosen for Seven Darden and Eugene Trubnik is method acting, and the object, a flower vase or vase.
And I noticed that the vase is really quite valuable, isn't it?
The vase? Oh, yes, very valuable.
I noticed when I reached for it, you jumped.
Yes. Yes, I did.
I mean, if I were to reach for it.
Harry. Now, Harry.
Makes you nervous, doesn't it?
Contain yourself. Yes,
I
it
imagine
does.
it's worth several $100s, isn't it?
Not that much.
Well, say 150.
Harry, what is it you're doing? What do you want, Harry?
I want to know how much this is worth. I'm a nervous man.
All right, all right.
Tell me how much it's
Harry,
worth.
it's very valuable.
It's very valuable.
Yes.
Maybe $2,000 or $3,000.
That vase is worth probably $3,000 or $4,000.
And I'm a very nervous man. I
What do
need
you-
to go to the doctor.
What is it you want, Harry?
I've got to go to the doctor.
Well, go to the doctor. Give
All
me
right.
back my vase.
You want me to take this vase to the doctor?
No, no.
Or do you want me to try to attempt to put it down and fail? You have a choice there.
What can I do for you, Harry? What is it in my power to do? Let me help you down with the vase, and then we'll talk
All right,
about
get on the floor.
But Harry, yes, Harry.
Well, no, you better lie down, I think.
Well, come now.
I'm a nervous man.
Yes, but Harry,
Look, I'm beginning to tremble. Look at that. You want it, don't you? Now, how about letting your little old
I
brother
want
have
you.
$3,000? Now, come along.
$3,000? Where am I going to
I'm
get
gonna
that
make
in ready
4.
cash?
Want it to be 3? I've never seen a man on his knees begging to lend money before.
So there you see that this is almost like a magic trick that people couldn't believe that, they were given suggestions and they were to create something funny, humorous, and that type. But that all came out of the theater games, what Viola Spolin was teaching them just to be in the moment, play the truce, those types of things. So So they were having all these rehearsals, and it quickly became, not only in Chicago, but around the country, became what's known as the Center for Satire, because everything they were doing was reflected of current pop culture. So, so they took this, so it was so popular there, they took it out to LA, did a successful run there, eventually took it to New York, ironically, a huge success there. And one of the people, and they would cast different people. They sometimes cast and teach these workshops and cast different people. One of the people they cast in New York was Alan Alda. In almost any interview he does, he credits everything that he learned in those workshops, those improvisational workshops, as the key to his success, because it helped him give timing and being in the moment and that type of thing. So, so she obviously, since it's so popular now, she is, Viola's in her 50s now. She publishes the book Improvisation for Theater in 1963. So it has over 200 games that she's created over the years, and becomes a huge success, bestseller. Everybody, it was a huge influence just on theater itself, again, because nobody ever used these techniques to create material or just as exercises on their own. So, so that's, she would go on to continue to teach until her death in 1994, and Paul would continue on those types of things. So, so then we get to, so that's 1960s, the Second City is the rule. So, what happens in the 60s and 70s, there's a performer, actor called Del Close. And he was originally part of the Second City, and they had a falling out because he believed that improvisation should not be used to create rehearsed material. He believed that improvisation is just an end on its own. So you get an idea, create a scene, and that's it. It never exists again. So, so they have a falling out. See, he goes and meets Sharna Halpern, and they open Improv Olympic in Wrigleyville, and that becomes, they start doing long form improv instead of just doing short scenes. They do these scenes that start weaving in and out of each other. These long improvisational things that are anywhere from 40 minutes to an hour, creating this tableau of interconnected scenes and that type of thing. It eventually became IO because the Olympic Committee sued them for using the word Olympic. I don't know, I guess because they could. So that IO was around until recently. I think the pandemic shut them down. Then you have the Annoyance, which opened up on the north side, more really pushing the boundaries of absurdity and that type of thing, instead of just doing your more of regular type of comedy. Really is pushing the edges and playing with form and that type of thing. Then there's Comedy Sports, that is just what it sounds like. It's very short, quick joke scenes. There's actually, if you've ever seen it, there's somebody the players are wearing referees uniforms, and they have two teams, and they get suggestions, and they do very quick joke type things. And then eventually Upright Citizens Brigade, Amy Poehler was one of the founders of that, and they opened up in New York City and created their own type of their own Second City Training Center. And that's something else I forgot to mention, is that in the 60s, the Viola opened up a training center, specifically, just like now you could go and take classes, and right now you can take them anywhere, but back then that was it. So, so you're looking at, well, how many people have come out of there? It's like, I couldn't name all of them, so I just wrote down some. John Belushi, Dane Aykroyd, Tina Fey, Amy Poehler, Bill Murray, Bonnie Hunt, Catherine O'Hara, Keegan-Michael Key, Bob Odenkirk, Gilda Radner, Eugene Levy, Joan Rivers, Fred Willard, Martin Short, Chris Farley, Mike Myers, Harold Ramis, Jason Sudeikis, George Wendt, Linda Lavin, Robert Klein, Tim Meadows, on and on and on. It's basically, it's any sketch show or even sitcoms that the producers and agents come and scout. Second City here, and there's one in New York now, and there's one in Detroit and Toronto. I'm sorry, not Detroit anymore, in Toronto. And so that's pretty much it became the bastion for comedy and just the influence, not only on performers, but writers and directors. Again, Mike Nichols, Elaine May, heavily influenced by the games and theater, that type of thing. So, and of course, these two people you might know, Stephen Colbert and Stephen Carell. And Jill, you might want to turn this down if you turn that, because this, oh, did you? Okay, I don't want to blast people's ears. So this was the 50th anniversary, and they are doing a scene. It's a full cast scene, but the main players are Colbert and Carell. And according to Stephen Colbert, the scene that you're going to watch was 90% of what they improvised the very first time they did it. Okay, so they got a suggestion for something, and then they just built this scene. So.
Yeah, I just love my hometown. I don't know if this happens to you, but when I'm home, you know, everything's different when I'm at home. Mm-hmm. Yeah. You know, people treat me differently. I feel differently. It's just great.
Yeah, same thing happens to me.
Can we get something to eat? Yeah. That train ride wore me out.
Shirley Wentworth!
Missy?
It's me, Missy!
Missy Kensington! Oh Lord, how you've grown!
I have two children of my own now, Shirley. I named my girl Shirley and my boy Wentworth.
Well, I'm twice blessed.
You know, my mama, she passed away last fall.
Oh, honey, I'm so sorry.
You were always like a second mama to me.
And this is my friend, Steve. Steve, this is Missy Kensington.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Please come by the house today and meet the children.
I surely will.
I love you.
I love you.
Oh, bye.
God love you.
What was that about?
She's an old friend.
Shirley Wentworth?
Here's what you can expect to pay for your tax prep.
Wait, this is backwards. My last tax guy only ever told me the price after he was finished.
And as a new client, we can.
Oh, I forgot to tell you. When I'm home, I'm an old black woman.
They told me you were back.
Miss Ruthie. Oh, Miss Ruthie.
Oh, time has been so good to you, Shirley. The lines of age, the lines, they've not shown on your beautiful black skin.
Miss Ruthie, you were the one who gave me the courage all those years ago in my despair to write my poetry. What is it you said? God is in everything. In the rocks, in the trees, in the stones, as surely as he's in the blood in our veins.
Coursing towards the heavens. Oh, you have overcome many, many trials and tribulations, Shirley. You have not let the barriers of color or sex stand in your way.
Oh, this is my friend Steve. Steve, this is Ruthie. She was my first teacher.
Hi.
Shirley Wentworth?
Miss Cecilia!
Oh, Shirley! I came the moment I heard you were in town. My husband, the mayor, and I would like you to come by the library tomorrow. We'd like to rededicate it in your honor.
Thank you.
Would you do a little reading? Sing a little.
Oh, you have not heard the gospel until you've heard Shirley sing.
That's right. I will not take no for an answer. And you must come by my house at 4:30 for tea.
Can I bring my friend Steve?
Absolutely. Oh, darling, we are so proud of you. We have followed you on every step of your journey, for you have put us on the map.
I'm proud of my hometown and everybody in it.
Come on, Miss Rachel, 4:30. I'll give you a ride.
Oh, God bless you, child. God bless you, Shirley. And very nice meeting you, Sarah.
I guess your hometown is a lot like this.
No! No! My hometown is nothing like this! No, I don't go home and like suddenly become an old Chinese guy.
Why would you?
Shirley Wentworth.
Nathan, is that you?
You remembered.
How could I forget you?
I feel like I died, going straight to heaven, like all my dreams have come true. Certainly you've come back to accept my marriage proposal.
You can't think I can accept. You know I can't do that. This town would never accept a marriage between a white man and an old black woman.
We'd move. We'd move.
Your roots are here, Nathan.
I'd pull them out like an onion.
They'd shrivel like a raisin in the sun.
All I know is my life would be so fulfilled if you'd give me your hand and... Who's your lovely friend?
This is Steve. Steve, this is Nathan. Finest man I know.
May I call on you later?
Whatever you think best, Nathan.
I'd better get back to the haberdashery. Pleasure meeting you, Sarah.
He's a great guy.
Well, there she is.
Hello, Raymond.
Shirley Wentworth. Hello, Shirley. I figured you must be back in town because I woke up this morning with a strange feeling my property value had dropped.
You can say what you want, Raymond.
What are you doing showing your face around here, Shirley? You ain't got no right. You just pulled up your roots and ran.
I had to leave, Raymond, because of men like you. Shallow men, empty men, whitened sepulchres full of corruption. Yeah, yeah! Shut up, you goddamn racist! She is no longer gonna sit at the back of the bus! She will drink from the same water fountain as you! I'm so confused.
It's all like Sarah said. It's going to be all right. Repeat after me. I am somebody.
Somebody.
I am
Somebody.
somebody. I am Sarah.
This is gonna be hard for me.
I am Sarah
I am Sarah
Brown,
Brown.
old black woman.
Old black woman.
We all, every one of us, have to come home again. Some of us were born on the bottom. We lived on the bottom.
So again, according to Stephen Colbert, that they created that 90% of that scene was created on the spot. Which, if you know about the structure of improv, I could see that because an ensemble scene, people enters and exits. So, so that concludes my talk. If anybody has any questions about the yes.
Let's get the hand first.
Oh, thank you.
And we've got a microphone. I have to step away. So let's.
Is there any place now that's doing improv in the Chicago area?
Oh yeah, it's everywhere. So when I started at the training center in 1998, it was pretty much it was them and IO, and there's a couple other major clubs that were doing it. Now it is everywhere. They start the Second Cities has classes for as young as 5 or 6 years old and goes all teen. So it used to be by the time you made it to the main stage, because what would happen is you go through the training center and then you try out for the touring companies. They have 3 different touring companies. They go around doing a best of Second City. And then eventually you made it to the main stage or the ETC, which is the 2 resident companies. And by that time, most people would be in their late 20s, early 30s, because most people came in, didn't start improv until their early 20s. Now, they're starting in their teen years. So it's not unusual to have people come in 18 or 19 years old and have, 3 or 4 years of experience. So yeah, it's blown up. It's everywhere. So yeah.
Some of us saw Second City when I would say early 60s, late 50s, maybe early 60s in Old Town. Who might we have seen at that time?
Oh, just so you're going to see. So that was the first show you saw there was 1960. So you're going to see besides the people, Elaine May and Elaine May and Mike Nichols. So you're going to see like say young Robert Klein, Joan Rivers.
Would Arkin have been there as well?
Yeah. So Alan Arkin, they said he was in that first cast, which is why, again, he's such you can see already, just a gifted comedic, physical and performer. So.
Okay, I'm going to ask the last question.
Okay.
You're involved in the teaching. What sets apart someone special from people that just come to you and want to learn? In other words, is there a common trait that you see among the greats that you could say, this is somebody that has it, and what is the it?
Yeah, it's innate timing. So they know there's a pause. If they, if someone says something, they know how long to wait before either responding or just the interaction itself. So they always say that, it's like, well, can you teach anyone to be funny? So no, I can't teach anyone to be funny. I can teach you to be funnier. I can take what you have and teach you how to increase upon whatever skills it has. But people that come in with this innate timing and performance and really just allowing themselves, because the whole thing about improv is getting out of your head and being in the moment, being present.
Well, and even some great actors can't do that. You mentioned.
Oh, yes.
You mentioned about Ed Asner in this thing.
Yes.
I mean, I'll just share a quick story. There was a great actor that did Glengarry Glen Ross in England. And David Mamet asked him if he would go to Chicago to do it and then on Broadway. And he said, no, I really can't do this every day. I can't be perfect and I want to be perfect. So he asked my brother, Joe Mantegna, to do Glengarry Glen Ross.
Okay.
He ends up getting the play ends up winning a Pulitzer, and Joe gets a whatever they get in Hollywood. What's it called? Tony.
Tony, okay.
It's a Tony on Broadway.
Wow.
So I mean, different skill sets.
Yes, yeah, most definitely, and that's why. And yes, and not every comedic actor can improvise because they need the structure of that script. And David Mamet was actually briefly at Second City as well, but obviously, his strong personality is not going to work.
Okay, I'm going to let Bob have the microphone.
Thank you. How many of you are familiar with a video called An Evening with Nichols and May? I know you. Okay. Get on your computers, get on YouTube and look it up. It's called An Evening with Nichols and May. It actually ran on Broadway. And those two that Glenn was talking about, some of the originals in the Compass Players and so forth, but there are some vignettes in that scene, in that video, that are just incredible, and I promise it will touch every one of you right down to your toenails. So check it out. It's called An Evening with Nichols and May. And Glenn, thank you so much. This has been everything I hoped it would be.